So, remember that time in late 2019 where Martin Scorsese said that MCU is not cinema? And basically everyone lost their minds calling Martin Scorsese pretentious for not deeming them worthy. But really all he was saying was that these big blockbuster movies are taking up too much space, which causes smaller indie films to not even have a chance. Which I entirely agreed with, but something didn't make much sense to me when he referred to some of these blockbuster movies as theme park rides. To me, for a movie to be considered a theme park movie, it has to have basically no plot, rely only on attractions and visuals for entertainment, and have nothing deeply thematic to say, with its ultimate goal being to just have fun and look cool with nothing else in mind. But isn't what I just said basically synonymous with being a bad movie? Because essentially it did sound like Scorsese was just saying that the MCU and most blockbuster movies were bad, but in a nicer way. And I didn't really get what he meant at the time when he was referring to them as different art forms like a theme park ride. That was until I saw Space Jam: A New Legacy. But before I fully get into that, I just want to say if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to stay updated with me and my content, just follow my Twitter at Machuw. Alright, let's get into it. I honestly can't think of a better example of a movie than this that exhibits what I think Martin Scorsese meant as theme park movies. There's really no story, there's a lot of cool things to look at, plenty of screen time dedicated to things that don't really matter to the film, and it's just something that only wants to have fun. But that's bad, right? Not having a story, really shameless advertisements that have nothing to do with the story, no deep themes or takeaways, just fun? And yeah, based on people's subjective perceptions, that could be really bad. To me, it just depends on how fun the movie is. Because if you're going to throw in essences of just complete nonsense in the film, it should just fully commit to it and be shameless. And that's what Space Jam: A New Legacy was for me. It was a movie that legitimately didn't care to flesh out the more personal and intimate stories. It didn't care to have some really good cinematography or acting or whatever. It's the type of movie where Rick and Morty show up to make a joke, or for our characters to be transported into Mad Max Fury Road, or to go to a Justice League cartoon, or even for Bugs Bunny to turn into Big Chunkus. Like, if a movie was trying to be some good cinema, you wouldn't ever get stuff like this because those are just random pop culture references that have nothing to do with anything. I mean, yeah, sometimes you can do that if it's just a fun wink that only takes up a couple of seconds.
That's all, folks. Is he allowed to say that? Legally?
But Space Jam: A New Legacy has it spread throughout the entire movie, which to me cements it as a theme park movie that exists just to be completely bonkers, and that's why I kinda like this movie.
You what?
I feel like if you watch past the point of seeing LeBron James ride in a car for Mad Max Fury Road and expected the movie to deliver something more impactful and thematically resonant, then I think that's kind of on you. This montage perfectly encapsulates what this film is trying to be, but if you watch past this point and just sort of tuned out knowing it wasn't for you, then that's completely fine. I'm not saying that because the movie is shameless about how dumb it is that automatically makes it good. Not everyone enjoys theme park rides, and not everyone has to, it's just something different. With that being said, the movie does have a hook for its plot because it is a movie. This is a necessary thing to have, even if it's just trying to be stupid. The overall premise is that an AI that looks like Don Cheadle kidnaps LeBron James' son out of pettiness because LeBron James insulted his work, and in order to get his son back, he has to win in a game of basketball and recruit characters from all over Warner Brothers. Wow, did I really just say that out loud? Huh. Regardless of whether or not you think that's good, it does have a plot. Now, I'll get back to the plot later to explain why this movie is actually a little bit smarter than you think. But yeah, at this point, I just turned my brain off and enjoyed all this stuff because I know I'm never gonna see stuff like this anywhere else, and I think the sooner people accept that, the sooner you can find at least some enjoyment in the film. I mean, it's just fun seeing CGI Don Cheadle playing basketball against Daffy Duck while seeing Pennywise in the background cheering the game on. Now, before I end the video, I would like to make a comparison to another film that could feel similar to this, but in my opinion is cinema, and that movie is Spider-Man: Into the Spiderverse. They're both movies that are animated and seemingly marketed towards kids, and it's filled with tons of meta references. So what makes Spider-Verse cinema and Space Jam: A New Legacy just a theme park ride movie to me? So yeah, Spider-Verse is a movie filled with several iterations of other Spider-Verse people that all make a ton of meta jokes, and we even see a lot of stuff in this movie that references other movies. The thing is, the characters introduced in this film actually tie into the plot and actively affect it. Spider-Ham doesn't just show up in the movie to wink at the audience and make funny jokes and leave. He actually affects the movie and ties into the theme of being diverse, and just being you is what makes you special. And the references to other Spider-Man movies are just a few seconds at most, so they're really just odes more than anything. To contrast this with Space Jam 2, we get entire scenes where we go to other worlds like the Matrix or DC, and some of these characters get a decent amount of dialogue too. But they don't actually affect the plot or themes, they're basically just cool attractions you can gaze at and have a good time with. And yes, you can have a preference for which one you like more. I definitely like Spiderverse more because it feels more relatable, emotional, introspective, and dramatic, but I'm not going to judge Space Jam 2 for not having those things when it never had the intention of doing so, because it's just a different type of movie. In conclusion, Scorsese wasn't just trying to be nice when saying that theme park rides aren't bad, but they're just a different art form. I think it's kinda null to be holding every movie to the same standards. Some movies simply just have different objectives in what they're trying to do, and to me, Space Jam: A New Legacy accomplished it. If you go in thinking it'll be like a Pixar movie or something, then you'll be disappointed. If you didn't like Space Jam: A New Legacy, that's cool. There's a lot not to like, and I could completely understand why one wouldn't like it. Like, yeah, it does sort of feel like a 2-hour ad for Warner Brothers at times, and it doesn't really justify having all these properties in the movie other than to just have them, but I do think it has a really nice hidden message in the film, which makes me feel like this movie is smarter than it lends itself to be. Because really, Space Jam: A New Legacy's most meta aspect is not the plethora of references to other projects, cameos, or whatever, it's the story. LeBron James's fictional son is torn about playing basketball because his father really enjoys it and wants his son to play it. However, LeBron's son doesn't really have fun with basketball. He has a completely different taste. And when LeBron is introduced to video games, something that's fun to a lot of other people, he doesn't really enjoy it. LeBron's character here is all about sticking to a certain form of how things should be done. You gotta work hard, put away other things you're interested in, and focus only on the work. And sure, it worked out for him, but not everyone operates the same way. Ultimately learning that sometimes it's just nice to have fun and not care so much about how something should be and just come to accept what is and just have fun with it. Cause yes, basketball in this game is not at all how basketball should be played, but it's not like it's trying to be. It's just a different form of entertainment. Just like how Space Jam: A New Legacy is not trying to be some genre-bending, narratively compelling story like a lot of other films, it's just trying to be fun. Not everyone will like it, not everyone has to. But the most important scene in the movie, however, is when LeBron's son goes to fulfill his real passion, but still has an open mind about other interests by keeping his basketball while going to a game programming camp. So if there's any takeaway you should have after watching Space Jam 2, it's to let go of the traditional way of looking at things, stop looking at life so seriously, and just learn to let go and have some dumb fun once in a while whilst keeping an open mind to other things. Or you can be like AI Don Cheadle and not like it. That's cool too.
Yeah, you having a lot of fun out there? Because that's all that matters, right? Is that you're having fun? That doesn't matter at all. What matters is that I win this game!
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you guys thought of Space Jam: A New Legacy. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, I'd love to know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.